The ancient alien civilization known as the Cathar had long ruled the galaxy with an iron grip. Their armadas stretched from one star system to another, bringing order, or what they deemed as order, to countless worlds. To them, lesser species were tools, slaves, or at best, obedient followers. For centuries they collected knowledge, absorbing cultures and crushing any resistance without a hint of mercy. Among the relics they gathered from the ruins of fallen civilizations, one artifact stood out, a colossal obelisk etched with glowing symbols, floating silently in the depths of space. It was ancient beyond comprehension, predating even the Cathar's vast empire. Its message, translated into their tongue, was simple. Do not disturb the planet marked by blue and green. Let humanity sleep. The Cathar were nothing if not arrogant. The idea that some primitive world warranted a warning felt almost insulting. They had conquered worlds with star-spanning empires and snuffed out races far older than themselves. Humanity was but a footnote in the galactic archives, a species bound to a single insignificant planet on the edge of the Orion Arm. Earth. Nevertheless, curiosity gnawed at them. High Chancellor Vorax, driven by pride and the desire to uncover whatever secret lay hidden on Earth, dispatched a small reconnaissance fleet. It was a gesture of contempt more than caution, a statement that the Cathar feared nothing. The fleet broke through Earth's atmosphere, spreading out to examine the surface. To their surprise, the world seemed quiet. No sign of spacefaring technology or advanced weaponry, just sprawling cities and primitive vehicles moving in rigid patterns. Vorax felt almost insulted. His second-in-command, Admiral Zorvak, reported in from orbit. Your Excellency, the creatures appear technologically stagnant. No warp signatures, no planetary defenses. It is as if they remain locked in their infancy. Vorax snorted, a guttural, disdainful sound. Pathetic. Perhaps the warning was placed by some forgotten protector race long wiped out. We will collect specimens and see what makes them so special. Prepare the containment units. As ground forces deployed, they moved with the cold efficiency of a conquering army. Soldiers rounded up clusters of humans, corralling them into force fields and examining their physiology. Some humans fought back, futile resistance with primitive firearms, but their efforts were laughable. Vorax ordered the cities purged, just to demonstrate the futility of defiance. But as the orbital bombardment began, something unexpected happened. The sky cracked open with thunder, though the planet's atmosphere remained calm. A pulse, an invisible wave of energy, rippled through the Cathar fleet. Systems malfunctioned, and ships shuddered violently. The flagship's main console went dark, only to flicker back with a single sentence written in a language Vorax didn't recognize. He barked at the technicians, demanding a translation, but before they could respond, a wave of madness swept through the crew. Officers clawed at their eyes, screaming of visions and shadows. Vorax watched in horror as one of his most disciplined lieutenants tore out his own throat. Desperate, he activated the intercom. This is Chancellor Vorax. Report status. What is happening? A response came through, but it wasn't his crew. It was a human voice. Calm, almost bored. We warned you not to disturb us. Vorax froze, dread clawing at his chest. Who is this? Identify yourself. You came to take samples, the voice replied, tinged with cold amusement. Now you'll learn why the universe let us sleep. Outside the viewport, Earth itself seemed to shimmer, as if reality were bending around it. Vorax could see it. A massive shape forming in orbit, a construct of light and energy that pulsed with unnatural force. It reached out, tendrils of power stretching toward the Cathar fleet. Ships vanished upon contact, crushed into singularities or scattered as atoms. Frantic, Vorax ordered the retreat, but space itself seemed to warp. There was no escape, only the relentless advance of something ancient and unstoppable, something that had once slumbered, unchallenged, for millennia. In his final moments, as the flagship disintegrated around him, Vorax understood the arrogance of his mistake. Humanity hadn't been protected by an external force. They were the threat, the thing the galaxy should have feared. And the universe had warned them. Earth lay quiet once more, its cities untouched, its people unaware of the chaos that had just unfolded above their skies. The tendrils of energy that had annihilated the Cathar fleet slowly dissipated, and the shimmering anomaly around the planet faded like morning mist. On the ground, life continued as usual. People went about their routines, blissfully ignorant of the massacre that had transpired in orbit. In a quiet, suburban neighborhood, David Marshall sat on his porch, nursing a cup of black coffee and listening to the faint hum of morning traffic. He wasn't just any man, though. David was one of the Guardians, an ancient order sworn to maintain the balance and ensure humanity's secret remained hidden. Though the modern world knew nothing of their existence, the Guardians had long understood that Earth wasn't just a planet. It was a fortress, a weapon, and above all, a trap. His phone buzzed, breaking his contemplation. He glanced at the screen, an encoded message from the Council. As he tapped it open, a familiar face appeared. A stern woman with piercing gray eyes. "David, it's done," she said. "The Cathar Armada is gone. The protocol activated without a hitch." He sighed, running a hand through his unkempt hair. "That's the third one this century. How many more are going to ignore the damn warning?" The woman, Evelyn Clark, gave a weary smile. "It's in their nature. Arrogance breeds stupidity. They all think they're the exception." David glanced at the sky, his gaze distant. "Did we track their point of origin?" "Already charted," Evelyn replied. "Their home system is about 300 light-years away. We're sending probes to make sure no remnants remain. The anomaly neutralized their entire fleet, but some survivors might have escaped through slip space." David shook his head. "They never learn. We put that warning beacon out for a reason, but every time some conqueror species shows up, they think they're invincible. How many more before the universe gets the message?" Evelyn's expression grew darker. "It's not just arrogance, it's desperation. Civilizations on the brink of collapse, empires looking for a last-ditch effort to secure power. They see Earth as just another resource to exploit. And they pay the price," David muttered. The Guardian Council had long known the truth about Earth. While it appeared to be an unremarkable world on the galactic map, it was actually a nexus of unimaginable power, a convergence point of spatial and temporal anomalies. In the distant past, long before humans evolved, a civilization older than the stars had engineered Earth to be the ultimate safeguard, a place that could channel the fabric of reality itself into raw, devastating energy. Humanity, unknowingly, was both its key and its guardian. Disturbing the planet triggered dormant protocols woven into the core of the world, and those who threatened it were met with annihilation. It wasn't about defense. It was eradication on a cosmic level. A beep sounded from David's phone, a secondary alert. Evelyn's face flickered as new data streamed in. Her brows knit together, and she glanced back at him. "We're detecting residual signatures from the anomaly," she said cautiously. "Something shifted during the event." David stiffened. "What do you mean?" "It's like the anomaly awakened something else. We're still analyzing it, but it's possible a fragment of the protocol remained active." He cursed under his breath. "If that's true, we need to lock it down. If Earth's defenses go unchecked, it might tear the entire solar system apart." "I'm already on it," Evelyn assured him. We're mobilizing units to key sites worldwide to check for fluctuations. You're closest to the eastern node. Head there and make sure it's stable. David nodded, shoving his phone into his jacket pocket. On my way. Let's hope it's just a glitch. He knew better, though. Earth's power wasn't just a deterrent. It was a sleeping giant. If one of the core nodes activated beyond protocol, it could unleash energy that would fracture reality itself. As he moved to his car, his mind raced through the possibilities. Had the Cathar done something before they were obliterated? Or had Earth merely stirred from its ancient slumber, realizing that threats had grown more frequent? The drive was short, but his mind was far from settled. He couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. That the universe, having once again ignored the warning, would soon learn the true cost of awakening humanity's wrath. The eastern node was nestled deep within the Appalachian Mountains, hidden beneath layers of rock and guarded by state-of-the-art cloaking technology. As David drove up the winding trail, memories of his training flooded back. Long days and nights learning about Earth's true nature, the responsibility of being a guardian, and the weight of keeping humanity's secret safe. His truck rumbled to a stop at the unmarked entrance, which looked like nothing more than a dense thicket. He pressed a sequence on his watch, and the air shimmered, revealing a narrow passageway lined with dense metal and biometric scanners. As he stepped inside, the passage sealed itself, and dim lights guided him deeper underground. The central chamber hummed with low energy, and faint blue light pulsed from the crystalline core embedded in the floor. Monitors flickered on the walls, displaying readouts of the anomaly's energy signature. A young technician glanced up from the console, his face pale and tense. "Sir," he greeted, his voice shaky. "We've been monitoring the anomaly since the Cathar eradication. There's a spike in temporal distortions, but nothing that breaches containment. Yet." David moved closer to the core, feeling the raw energy vibrating through the air. "Any idea what triggered it?" The technician hesitated. "We thought it was the activation itself, but something else might be going on. The core's power output is increasing on its own. We've run diagnostics 3 times, but there's no sign of tampering." David frowned, placing a hand on the console. "Run a system-wide analysis again. Check for any foreign signals or residual data from the Cathar. I want to know if they managed to transmit anything before they were wiped out." "Yes, sir." As the technician scrambled to execute the command, David scanned the readouts, his instincts gnawing at him. Something wasn't right. Earth's defense protocol had never malfunctioned before, not even during the last incursion a century ago. Whatever was happening now felt different. His phone vibrated again. Another encrypted message. Evelyn's face appeared, looking more concerned than before. "David, we've got a situation. Another anomaly just appeared on the western seaboard. Same signature, but it's not the core. It's something else." His gut twisted. 2 activations at once? That's never happened before. We're deploying containment teams now, but the energy output is escalating faster than we can dampen it. If it reaches critical mass, the resulting detonation could obliterate half the continent. David clenched his jaw. "Can we isolate the western node from the main grid?" "We tried, but it's responding autonomously. The system isn't accepting manual overrides." "Then it's not just an activation," David muttered. "It's a resonance. One node waking up is triggering the others. If they sync up, the entire planet could ignite." Evelyn looked grim. "That's what we're afraid of. The Council is discussing evacuation protocols, but we both know that's a death sentence. We need to shut down the nodes before they fully awaken." "Agreed. I'll secure the eastern node, but we might need to use the failsafe." Her eyes widened. "Are you serious? The failsafe could collapse the entire planetary anomaly network." Better that than a galactic extinction event. She didn't argue, just gave him a tight nod. Do what you have to. I'll coordinate the containment on the western node. Stay safe. The call ended, and David took a deep breath. He couldn't help but think back to the ancient warning, the message etched into that impossible obelisk floating in deep space. Do not disturb humanity. The Cathar had ignored it, and now the consequences were spiraling out of control. Turning to the technician, he barked out orders. Initiate emergency containment on all auxiliary nodes. Start the resonance dampeners and reroute excess energy to the planetary capacitor. We're not letting this escalate. The young man nodded, his fingers flying over the console. Understood. Initiating containment protocols. But before the systems could respond, the core pulsed violently, sending a shockwave through the chamber. David staggered, grabbing onto the console as warning lights flared to life. Sir, energy levels just doubled. The node is trying to connect to something external. David's eyes widened. External? What the hell does that mean? The technician swallowed hard. It's almost like it's trying to reach out, as if the core itself is broadcasting a signal into deep space. David's mind raced. If Earth's core nodes were signaling something beyond the solar system, it could draw attention from more than just the Cathar. They might have triggered a beacon, a call to whatever ancient force had created Earth in the first place. His heart pounded as he realized the terrifying possibility. Earth wasn't just a weapon. It was a lure, a beacon meant to call something back. And now that it had been disturbed, it was reaching out, desperate to reconnect with whatever force had shaped it. David grabbed his communicator and patched through to Evelyn. We've got a bigger problem. The nodes are transmitting. We might have just woken up something far worse than the Cathar. There was a long, dreadful silence before Evelyn spoke. God help us all. David's pulse hammered in his ears as he raced through the subterranean corridors, the echoes of alarms bouncing off the metallic walls. The eastern node's core continued to pulse with increasing intensity, and the entire facility vibrated with barely contained energy. He needed answers. Now. Ducking into the control room, he found the lead scientist, Dr. Hannah Reyes, hunched over a holographic display, her fingers dancing across the interface. Her usually calm demeanor was replaced by pure panic. Hannah, David called out, snapping her focus to him. What the hell is going on with the core? It's trying to reach out to deep space. She glanced at him, her face pale and drawn. I'm trying to isolate the signal, but it's not just transmitting. It's also receiving. Something out there is responding. His stomach twisted. Responding? You mean something's aware of us now? Yes, she whispered, and it's not friendly. A new alert flashed on the monitor, and David leaned in, his eyes scanning the readout. A massive energy surge was brewing within the core, enough to vaporize the entire eastern seaboard if it wasn't contained. Shut it down, he ordered, but Hannah shook her head. We can't. The manual overrides aren't responding. It's like the node has locked itself into a feedback loop, feeding on the returning signal. David ran his hands through his hair, cursing under his breath. Can we sever the power directly from the capacitor? She hesitated. We could, but that risks destabilizing the entire anomaly network. It might cause a planetary chain reaction. He weighed his options, frustration boiling under his skin. Damn it. We need to know what's on the other end of that signal. Can you decode it? Hannah nodded hesitantly and redirected the signal through a decryption array. As lines of alien script scrolled across the screen, a synthesized voice began to translate. Response acknowledged. Initiating reclamation sequence. Prepare for assimilation. David's blood ran cold. Assimilation? By what? Before Hannah could answer, Evelyn's face appeared on the comm screen. "David, we've got incoming. Long-range scanners just picked up multiple FTL signatures converging on Earth. Whatever that signal reached, it called something here." His hands clenched into fists. "Can you identify them?" Evelyn's face was grim. "They match no known species in our database. If they're ancient, they might predate everything we've encountered. Whatever they are, they're coming in fast. ETA 30 minutes. David swallowed hard. "We need to get ahead of this. If Earth becomes ground zero for whatever's coming, humanity's screwed. We're trying to scramble defenses, but if they're the ones who created the nodes in the first place, our weapons might be useless," Evelyn replied. He glanced at Hannah, whose face was now buried in technical readouts. "Any chance we can reverse the signal? Make it look like the call was a mistake or a dead end?" Hannah shook her head. "The signal's embedded itself into the core protocol. It's a hard-coded handshake, like an ancient greeting or acknowledgement. We might be able to distort it, but we'd need to sync the distortion with all active nodes." David's heart sank. That would mean coordinating every active node on the planet, and any mistake could trigger a full collapse. "Exactly," Hannah said. "But if we do nothing, Earth becomes a beacon for whatever's out there. If they're hostile, it's game over." He exhaled slowly, forcing his mind to focus. "Okay, we've got 30 minutes to coordinate a global distortion. Get me Evelyn and every Guardian leader on the line. We're going to synchronize the nodes and scramble that signal." As Hannah sent out the comm request, David pulled out his encrypted device and accessed the Guardian network. Messages flooded in from bases around the globe. Urgent reports of strange energy readings, unexplained tremors, and atmospheric disturbances. Whatever had responded, it wasn't subtle. Evelyn's face popped up again, alongside half a dozen other Guardian leaders from across the continents. "We're all here," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "What's the plan?" David outlined the distortion process, knowing full well how insane it sounded. "We need to corrupt the signal, make it look like a glitch. If they think Earth's defenses malfunctioned or degraded, they might not bother. But we have to synchronize perfectly, or the whole planet could go critical." One of the leaders, a gruff man named Victor from the Siberian node, grunted in agreement. "Better to risk it than wait to be assimilated by God knows what. My team is ready." One by one, the others confirmed their readiness. Evelyn shot him a glance. "David, you know this could fry the whole network. Earth might never activate its defenses again if we break this protocol." He met her gaze, firm and unyielding. "We either risk our hidden weapon or wait to be subjugated. I'm not about to let Earth become some ancient empire's pet project." She nodded, understanding his resolve. "We'll sync on your mark." David glanced at Hannah, who gave him a tight, anxious nod. "Distortion protocol ready. We'll have one shot." He took a deep breath, forcing his hands to steady. "All right, everyone, on my count. 3, 2, 1. Activate." The core flared, and a blinding pulse shot through the chamber. Across the globe, each node erupted with synchronized energy, sending out a distorted, chaotic version of the original signal. Monitors flashed red, and Hannah scrambled to stabilize the power flow. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Then the anomaly readings began to drop, and the incoming FTL signatures hesitated. Some even veered off course. "It's working," Hannah whispered, barely daring to believe it. "They're losing the signal." David sagged with relief, but Evelyn's face remained tense. "Some of them aren't turning away. A few ships are still on approach. We might have shaken most of them, but the stubborn ones are coming to investigate." He tightened his jaw. "Then we make sure they regret ever answering that call." David paced the control room, his mind racing through options as the remnants of the alien fleet closed in. Only a handful of ships remained on course, but they were enormous, monolithic constructs bristling with weapons and shimmering with ancient energy fields. The distorted signal had deterred most of the fleet, but these few were clearly determined to investigate the source. Evelyn's voice crackled over the comms. "Scanners are picking up something disturbing. Those ships, they're not just massive, they're layered with some kind of reality-bending technology. It's like they exist in multiple dimensions at once." David cursed under his breath. "Great, just what we needed, invincible ancient dreadnoughts." Dr. Reyes furiously tapped on her console, her brow furrowed. "I'm analyzing their energy patterns. If they're built like I think they are, they can phase between dimensions, which makes conventional weapons useless." "Then we need unconventional," David muttered. "What about the nodes themselves? Can we channel their energy offensively?" Reyes hesitated. "Theoretically, yes. But that much power directed outward could shatter Earth's own anomaly field. It's meant to protect the planet, not attack." David clenched his fists, fighting down the panic clawing at his chest. They couldn't just sit and wait to be annihilated. "We don't have much choice. We've already stirred the hornet's nest. Either we fight back with everything we have, or we let them take us without resistance," Evelyn chimed in, her voice resolute. "Agreed. If Earth's defenses are our only weapon, we use them. Reyes, can you sink the nodes into a unified burst, like a gravitational wave, but directed outward?" Reyes bit her lip. "That could work. If we harmonize the energy pulse through each node simultaneously, it would generate a multidimensional shockwave that could destabilize their phasing." David nodded. "Then let's do it. Coordinate with all nodes. We'll hit them with a pulse strong enough to rip reality around them." The Guardians worldwide scrambled to initiate the synchronization, tension thick in the air. David's heart pounded as he watched the alien ships break through the atmosphere, gliding ominously over major cities. Their presence bent the sky itself, colors distorting and warping like oil on water. Evelyn's face was pale but determined. "Pulse synchronization at 87%. Almost there." Reyes adjusted the power conduits, her hands shaking but precise. "Just a few more seconds. And... ready." David gripped the console. "Do it!" The core pulsed violently, and around the globe, each node resonated in harmony, channeling the unimaginable energy of the anomaly network. A wave of pure force erupted from the planet, warping the very fabric of space-time. The sky seemed to fracture, like glass hit by a sledgehammer. The alien ships trembled as their phasing fields flickered and sputtered. One by one, they were dragged into normal space, their dimensional anchors collapsing. Vulnerable and exposed, they hovered for just a moment before the energy wave slammed into them with the force of a collapsing star. The ships disintegrated in a flash of brilliance, their forms scattering like dust on the solar wind. The energy from the nodes gradually dissipated, and the sky returned to its usual blue calm. Reyes slumped against the console, breathing heavily. "We did it. They're gone." David closed his eyes, his adrenaline finally waning. Evelyn's voice broke through his relief. "We've got scattered debris falling into the ocean and minor atmospheric disturbances, but it's nothing catastrophic. We actually pulled it off." He allowed himself a grim smile. "Good. Let's deactivate the pulse before it fries the network completely. We might not survive another round." Reyes moved to comply, but just as she initiated the shutdown, the monitors flared again, showing a single encrypted message in the alien language. Automatically, the system translated it. "Protocol reclamation failed. Initiating response Omega." David's gut twisted. What the hell does that mean? Evelyn's face blanched. "David, long-range scanners just picked up something. A massive spatial distortion near Jupiter. It's huge." The holographic display zoomed out, and his heart nearly stopped. A colossal structure, dwarfing even the alien dreadnoughts, was emerging from subspace, its presence warping gravity itself. Reyes stared at the screen, horror etched into her features. "It's not a ship. It's a mobile command nexus, like a living fortress. If it gets here, it'll unleash enough firepower to turn Earth into slag. David knew they had exhausted the anomaly network's output with the pulse, and charging it again would take hours, time they didn't have. Desperation clawed at him. Can we send a distress signal to any remaining alien factions? Make them think Earth is already reclaimed? Reyes frowned. I can try to replicate the original signal, but they might see through it. If they detect distortion, they'll know it's a trick. Do it anyway. It's our only shot. As Reyes scrambled to recreate the alien signal, Evelyn's voice came through, fierce and unwavering. If that fortress reaches Earth, it's over. We might have to consider evacuation. Get as many off-world as we can. David refused to accept that. Humanity had never been about surrender. If the ancient creators of Earth's defenses had truly designed it as a weapon, then somewhere within the anomaly network had to be the key to unleashing its full power. But as he stared at the terrifying approach of the alien nexus, one chilling thought lingered in his mind. What if Earth wasn't just a weapon? What if it was a prison, holding back something far worse than any invader? David stared at the screen, his thoughts spiraling as the massive alien fortress loomed closer, its silhouette blotting out Jupiter from view. The size of the construct was unimaginable, like a city floating through space, bristling with energy conduits and weapon emplacements. Evelyn's voice broke the silence, barely above a whisper. That thing, it's not just a ship, it's a planetary siege platform. David gritted his teeth, forcing his mind to focus. Reyes, how's that signal coming? She wiped sweat from her brow, fingers flying over the console. Almost there. I've matched the distortion pattern from the original pulse. If this works, it'll look like Earth is already in their control. He nodded. Broadcast it as soon as it's ready. If we're lucky, they'll call off the assault. The room was suffocatingly silent as the signal beamed out from the node, riding on frequencies too advanced for human technology to even perceive. The waiting stretched into agonizing minutes as the fortress continued its slow, ominous approach. Finally, the fortress emitted a response. 2 symbols displayed on the screen. The translation followed. Signal corrupted. Protocol integrity compromised. Purge and reclaim. Reyes sank back into her chair, defeated. They didn't buy it. They're moving to full planetary purification. David clenched his fists. Evelyn, what's our window? Her face was stone cold, calculating. 15 minutes until it enters high orbit. Once it's in position, it'll unleash enough firepower to turn Earth into a molten rock. Desperation clawed at his mind, but an idea suddenly sparked. A reckless, insane idea. What if we use the nodes not to fight, but to overload the anomaly itself, turn Earth into a singularity? Reyes looked at him in horror. You're talking about collapsing the entire spatial anomaly into a gravitational well that would destroy the planet, and probably the entire solar system. He nodded grimly. And take that fortress with it. They want Earth because it's unique. They see it as a weapon they can reclaim. If we deny them that, if we turn it into a trap, it's a final act of defiance. Humanity won't be a prize for anyone. Evelyn hesitated, her voice cracking. David, that's suicide. Billions will die. David's eyes were hard and unwavering. If we let them reclaim Earth, it won't matter. They'll rewrite reality, enslave the survivors, maybe even rip the anomaly apart and take the technology for themselves. Better we decide our fate than let them have it. Reyes bit her lip, tears gathering in her eyes. But she knew he was right. Slowly, she nodded. I'll initiate the singularity cascade. It'll take a few minutes to overload the core nodes. Evelyn's voice softened. You sure about this? David forced a sad smile. We were warned. The universe tried to protect us. Maybe it knew this would happen. Knew that one day we'd have to make a choice. We're not letting them take us. He activated the Guardian network, broadcasting to every major node. His voice was calm, resolute. All Guardians, this is Commander Marshall. We are initiating Protocol Omega. Earth will not be taken. Begin evacuation if possible, but prepare for planetary collapse. It's been an honor. Across the globe, Guardian bases acknowledged, and a quiet acceptance settled over them. They had trained for every scenario, but never imagined it would end like this. Reyes began linking the nodes, her fingers trembling. Power buildup initiated. Once the cascade starts, we'll have about 5 minutes before critical mass. David reached out, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. You did good, Reyes. This isn't your fault. A bitter smile touched her lips. Maybe not, but it's hard to let go. Evelyn's face reappeared on the screen. David, something's happening with the fortress. It's stopping. He frowned. Stopping? Yeah, it just halted in orbit. Scanners are picking up massive internal energy fluctuations. It's like they're struggling. Reyes glanced at the core readout. Wait a minute. I think I understand. When we broadcasted the distorted signal, it didn't just fool their fleet. It infected their own systems with incompatible data. It's corrupting their command structure. David's eyes widened. You're saying they might self-destruct? Evelyn's voice picked up, almost hopeful. It's possible. If they can't maintain dimensional stability, the fortress might collapse on itself. Reyes furiously typed commands into the console. We can amplify the distortion, force it through every node at once. It'll push their systems past the breaking point. David nodded without hesitation. Do it. She activated the final sequence, and the core pulsed with raw energy, sending out a shockwave of chaotic distortion. The fortress above Earth convulsed, its form shifting and warping as the corrupted data overwhelmed its dimensional anchors. And then, with a soundless implosion, the entire construct folded in on itself, vanishing from existence like it had never been there at all. Silence fell over the control room, broken only by the faint hum of the core stabilizing. Evelyn's shaky voice came through. It's gone. Whatever they were, they're gone. David let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding, his hands trembling. Stand down the Singularity Protocol. Keep the nodes on low power. We just won. Reyes managed a small, exhausted smile. I can't believe it. We actually survived. David looked at the monitors one last time, seeing the skies clear and calm. Humanity had once again proven that despite being underestimated, they were more than just survivors. They were protectors of their world, fierce, unyielding, and unpredictable. As the dust settled, David couldn't help but think that the universe's warning had been right all along. Never disturb humans. Because those who did rarely lived to tell the tale. The sky bled red the day they came. 3,000 years ago, the Zarketh descended like locusts, their ships blotting out the sun, their weapons turning cities to ash. Earth burned, and with it, our innocence. They didn't come to conquer. They came to erase. Billions died in the first hour, their screams swallowed by the roar of plasma cannons and the crackle of disintegrating steel. I was 9, clinging to my mother's hand as we ran through streets choked with smoke and panic. She didn't make it past the second wave. I did, though I've spent every day since wishing I hadn't. They called it the Purge. The Zarketh believed humanity was a blight, a species too reckless, too defiant to be allowed to live. They scoured our planet, leaving nothing but charred ruins and a handful of survivors. Us, the ragged remnants, scattered like ash on the wind. For centuries, we hid, we scraped, we survived, we learned, we hated, and we swore that one day they'd pay. Now, 3 millennia later, I stand on the bridge of the Retribution, staring at the glowing orb of Zarkon Prime, their homeworld, hanging in the void like a ripe fruit begging to be crushed. My hands tremble, not with fear, but with the weight of what's coming. The crew around me is silent, their faces carved from stone, each one bearing scars of a war that never ended. We're not soldiers anymore. We're ghosts, forged in the fire of a dead world, and tonight we'll haunt them. "Commander Reyes," my lieutenant says, her voice sharp as the blade at her hip. "The fleet's in position. All weapons are primed. We're ready." Ready. The word feels hollow. 3,000 years of rage distilled into this moment, and still, it doesn't feel like enough. I nod, my throat tight. Light it up. The viewscreen flares as the first salvo launches. Antimatter warheads, stolen Zarketh tech turned against them. Their orbital defenses shatter like glass, raining molten fragments into the atmosphere. I imagine their cities below, gleaming spires of alien arrogance, trembling as the sky catches fire. Do they feel it yet? The terror we felt? The helplessness? "Direct hit," the lieutenant reports, her eyes glinting with something feral. "Their shields are down. Second wave incoming." I should feel triumph. I should feel the rush of vengeance fulfilled. But all I feel is the hole where my mother used to be, the echo of her voice telling me to run. This isn't justice. It's survival. It's the only language they understand. The Zarketh thought us weak, a primitive species unworthy of the stars. They underestimated us. While they built their empire, we clawed our way back from the brink. We scavenged their wreckage, reverse-engineered their machines, turned their own arrogance into our strength. 1,000 years ago, we took our first colony ship beyond the asteroid belt. 500 years ago, we cracked faster-than-light travel. And now, we're here, a fleet of human wrath, armed to the teeth with their own nightmares. "Commander," Captain Okoye's voice cuts through the static of the comms. He's on the Vindicator, leading the flank assault. "Their fighters are scrambling. They're sending a distress signal. Reinforcements inbound from the outer systems." "Let them come," I say, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. "We've got enough firepower to glass half their empire before they get here." Okoye grunts, a sound that might have been a laugh if we still remembered how. "Copy that. Burn it all." Burn it all. That's been the rallying cry since the Exodus, when the last of us fled Earth's smoldering corpse. It's carved into the hulls of our ships, etched into our bones. For every child who starved in the refugee camps, for every survivor who froze in the dark, for every soul lost to their purge, we'd make them pay tenfold. The viewscreen shifts, zooming in on Zarkon Prime's surface. Their capital comes into focus, towering ziggurats of crystal and metal, glowing with an eerie violet light. It's beautiful, in a way, like a predator's scales before you see the teeth. Then the second wave hits. The warheads detonate in blooms of white-hot fury, swallowing entire districts in seconds. The violet light gutters out, replaced by plumes of black smoke and rivers of molten slag. "Thermal readings spiking," the lieutenant says, her fingers flying over the console. "Their power grids collapsing. Civilian sectors are taking heavy damage." Civilian sectors. The words twist in my gut. I see flashes of my own past. My sister, barely 5, buried under rubble. My father, vaporized before he could scream. Did the Zarketh hesitate when they glassed our schools, our hospitals? Did they mourn our civilians? "Keep firing," I order, my voice cold as the void outside. "No quarter." The lieutenant hesitates, just for a heartbeat, then nods. She's young, barely 30, but she's seen enough to understand. We all have. This isn't about mercy. It's about ending them before they end us again. The bridge hums with the rhythm of war. The low thrum of engines, the sharp beeps of targeting systems, the distant shudder of our cannons firing. I lean back in the command chair, my fingers tracing the worn patch on my uniform. Earth's old flag, a faded blue marble stitched by a dead tailor. 3,000 years, and it still feels like yesterday. "Commander," an ensign chimes in, his voice tight. "We're picking up transmissions from the surface. They're pleading." Pleading? I almost laugh. The Zarketh, with their 7-foot frames and their clicking mandibles, begging for their lives. I wonder if they even know what mercy means, or if it's just another word they never bothered to learn. "Play it," I say. The speakers crackle, and a voice spills out, high-pitched, guttural, translated by our systems. "Cease your attack. We surrender. We offer terms. Spare our young—" I cut the feed with a flick of my hand. "They didn't spare ours." Silence falls over the bridge again, thick and heavy. No one argues. No one questions. We've carried this grudge too long for second thoughts. "Third wave ready," the lieutenant announces. "Awaiting your command." I stare at the burning world below, at the chaos we've unleashed. 3,000 years ago, they took everything from us. Now we're taking it back, one scorched planet at a time. I close my eyes, just for a moment, and see my mother's face, her last words lost in the flames. "Fire," I say, and the sky burns again. The third wave tears into Zarkon Prime like a vengeful god's fist, and I watch it unfold in silence. The viewscreen is a tapestry of destruction, cities crumbling into dust, violet spires melting into slag, the atmosphere itself igniting in streaks of orange and black. The bridge crew doesn't cheer. There's no celebration in this. It's too raw, too personal. Every blast is a memory, every explosion a debt repaid. My hands grip the arms of the command chair, knuckles white, as if I could squeeze the past out of my bones. "Commander Reyes," the lieutenant says, her voice cutting through the hum of the ship. "Scanners show their fleets mobilizing from the northern hemisphere. They're launching everything they've got, fighters, frigates, even civilian transports retrofitted with weapons." I nod, barely hearing her. My eyes are locked on the planet below, on the glowing wounds we've carved into its surface. Civilian transports. The phrase snags in my mind, sharp and unwelcome. I see them in my head, Zarketh families, their young clutching at their parents, fleeing the fire we've brought. It's a mirror of my own past, flipped and distorted, and it makes my stomach twist. But I shove the thought down. They didn't flinch when they burned us. I won't flinch now. "Intercept them," I say. "No survivors." The lieutenant's fingers pause over the console, just for a second, before she relays the order. I catch the flicker in her eyes. Doubt, maybe, or something softer. She's too young to remember Earth, born in the refugee fleets, raised on stories of ash and loss. But she's old enough to know what this costs us. We're not just burning their worlds. We're burning what's left of ourselves. The retribution shudders as our cannons roar again, sending a barrage of plasma lances into the void. On the tactical display, I see our fleet adjust. Hundreds of ships, each a testament to human ingenuity and spite, fanning out to meet the enemy's desperate counterattack. The Vindicator leads the charge, its silhouette a jagged scar against the stars, Captain Okoye's voice crackling over the comms. "They're throwing everything at us, Reyes," he says, his tone grim. "Fast, little bastards. Fighters are slipping through our lines. We've got boarding craft incoming." Boarding craft. The Zarketh aren't just fighting to survive. They're fighting to take us with them. I can almost admire it, that stubborn refusal to die quietly. Almost. "Seal the decks," I order. "All hands to battle stations. If they want to fight up close, we'll give them one." Alarms blare across the ship, a harsh wailing sound that sets my teeth on edge. The crew moves like a machine, years of drills kicking in, their faces hard and unreadable. I unholster the pistol at my side. A crude thing, human-made, not some sleek Zarketh toy. It's heavy, reliable, and it's seen me through worse than this. The first impact hits us minutes later, a dull thud reverberating through the hull, followed by the screech of metal on metal. They're breaching us. I glance at the lieutenant, who's already pulling a rifle from the weapons rack. "With me," I say, and she falls in step without a word. We move through the corridors, the air thick with the smell of ozone and fear. The lights flicker, casting long shadows that dance like ghosts. My boots clang against the deck, each step a countdown. I've fought Zarketh before, ground skirmishes on fringe colonies, knife fights in the dark. They're fast, strong, their mandibles snapping like traps, but they bleed just like we do. And I've learned how to make them bleed. The breach point is chaos when we reach it, a jagged hole in the hull, sealed by emergency bulkheads, and beyond it, the sounds of gunfire and screams. My crew's holding the line, their weapons spitting defiance, but the Zarketh are relentless. I see one, a towering figure in segmented armor, its eyes glowing green through the smoke, tear a soldier apart with its claws. Rage flares in my chest, hot and familiar. I don't think, I charge. The pistol bucks in my hand, rounds slamming into the Zarketh's chest. It staggers, black blood spraying, but it doesn't fall. Its mandibles click furiously, and it lunges, faster than something that big should be. I duck, barely, feeling the wind of its claws above my head, and drive my shoulder into its midsection. We hit the deck hard, a tangle of limbs and fury. My free hand finds the knife at my belt, and I bury it in the soft spot under its jaw. It thrashes, then goes still, its weight pinning me for a moment before I shove it off. "Commander!" the lieutenant shouts, firing at another Zarketh closing in. Her rifle's steady, but her voice trembles. I scramble up, adrenaline singing in my veins, and join her, our shots cutting through the haze. The enemy falls, one by one, but more pour through the breach. Too many. "Fall back!" I yell, grabbing her arm. "Regroup at the choke point!" We retreat, dragging wounded with us, the corridor a mess of blood and broken bodies. My chest burns, not just from the fight, but from the weight of it all. This isn't how I imagined it. Vengeance was supposed to be clean, triumphant. Instead, it's this, a brutal, ugly slog, with death on both sides and no end in sight. Back at the choke point, we dig in, barricading the hall with debris and fallen weapons. The Zarketh hammer at us, their numbers thinning but their ferocity undimmed. I catch my breath, wiping alien blood from my face, and glance at the lieutenant. She's pale, her hands shaking, but she meets my gaze with a nod. She's still here. We all are. "Commander," an ensign's voice crackles through my earpiece. "The fleet's holding, but we're taking losses. Their reinforcements are 30 minutes out." 30 minutes. An eternity in a fight like this. I look at the crew around me, exhausted, battered, but unbroken, and feel something shift inside. This isn't just about burning their worlds anymore. It's about proving we're still human, still worth something, even after everything they took. "Hold the line," I say, my voice steady despite the chaos. "We finish this." The Zarketh charge again, and I raise my pistol, the weight of 3,000 years behind every shot. They burned Earth. Now we burn them and ourselves, down to the last ember. The choke point holds, but barely. The air is thick with smoke and the copper tang of blood, ours and theirs. My pistol's barrel glows hot, each shot a punctuation mark in a sentence 3,000 years long. The Zarketh keep coming, their armored forms crashing against our barricade like waves on a crumbling shore. I see one of my crew, a kid, barely 20, go down, his chest torn open by claws. I fire, and the alien drops, but it's too late for him. Too late for too many. "Commander Reyes!" the lieutenant shouts, her rifle spitting fire beside me. "We can't hold much longer. They're breaking through." She's right. The barricade groans, metal bending under the weight of their assault. I taste ash in my mouth, a memory of Earth clawing its way back. My mother's face flashes again, her eyes wide, her hand slipping from mine. I shake it off. No time for ghosts, not now. "Grenades!" I bark, pulling one from my belt. The crew follows, a ragged chorus of clicks as pins hit the deck. We hurl them over the barricade and the corridor erupts. Flashes of light, shrieks of pain, the wet crunch of alien flesh. It buys us seconds, maybe minutes. I grab the lieutenant's arm, pulling her back. "Fall to the secondary line, now!" We stumble through the ship, dragging the wounded, the Zarketh's guttural cries echoing behind us. My earpiece buzzes, Captain Okoye's voice, strained. "Reyes, their reinforcements are jumping in. 10 minutes out. We're losing ships up here." 10 minutes. I curse under my breath. The Retribution shakes, a deep tremor rattling the walls. They're hitting us from outside, too. Plasma barrages tearing into our hull. I can feel it, the ship bleeding just like we are. "Hold them off," I tell Okoye. "We're handling the borders." Handling. A lie, but it's all I've got. We reach the secondary line, a narrow junction rigged with turrets, and dig in again. The crew's faces are masks of exhaustion, eyes hollow but burning. They don't ask why we're doing this. They know. It's in our blood, our scars, our dead world. The Zarketh hit us hard, a tide of claws and fury. I fire until my pistol clicks empty, then swing it like a club, smashing a mandible. The lieutenant's beside me, her rifle jamming. She drops it, pulls a knife, and drives it into an alien's eye. We're animals now, all of us, reduced to this brutal dance. "Commander," an ensign gasps through the comms. "Their fleet's here, 3 dreadnoughts, dozens of escorts. We're outnumbered." Outnumbered. The word lands like a punch. I see it on the tactical feed, red blips swarming our green. The Vindicator takes a hit, its flank erupting in silence. Okoye's still fighting, but he's a dead man flying. We all are, maybe. I wipe sweat and blood from my eyes, staring at the Zarketh clawing closer. 3,000 years of hate brought us here, and for what? To die in their halls instead of ours? Number, I won't let it end like this. "Reroute power to the core," I say into the comms. "Prep the antimatter cascade." The lieutenant freezes, her knife dripping. "That'll take out everything. Us, them, the planet." I meet her gaze, steady despite the chaos. "It's what we came for." She nods, slow, and relays the order. The ship hums, a death knell rising. We burn their worlds, or we burn with them. The Retribution groans like a dying beast as power surges to its core, the antimatter cascade charging with a low, ominous hum. I feel it in my chest, a vibration that promises oblivion. The corridor is a slaughterhouse, bodies strewn across the deck, human and Zarketh tangled in death. My hands are slick with blood, my pistol long gone, replaced by a jagged piece of metal I ripped from the barricade. It's crude, but it kills just fine. "Commander Reyes," the lieutenant says, her voice hoarse as she reloads her salvaged rifle. "Cascade's at 60%, 5 minutes to critical." 5 minutes. I nod, my jaw tight, and drive my makeshift blade into an Zarketh crawling toward us. Its green eyes dim, and I feel nothing. No satisfaction, no relief. Just the weight of what's coming. The antimatter cascade isn't a weapon. It's a reckoning. It'll rip Zarkon Prime apart, turn the Retribution to dust, and take every soul, ours and theirs, with it, a final screaming answer to their purge. The comms crackle, Okoye's voice faint through the static. "Reyes, we're done up here. Vindicator's crippled. Dreadnoughts are closing. If you've got a miracle, now's the time." No miracles. Just this. "Hold them as long as you can," I say, knowing it's a death sentence. He doesn't reply, but I hear the Vindicator's cannons roar one last time before the line goes dead. Another piece of us lost to the void. The Zarketh in the corridor are faltering, their numbers thinning, but their dreadnoughts outside are a different beast. The ship rocks again, a blast tearing through the outer hull. Alarms scream, red lights bathing us in a hellish glow. I glance at the crew. Fewer now, their faces gaunt, some praying, some staring blankly. They're with me, even in this. I don't know if that's loyalty or despair. 70%, the lieutenant reports, her hands trembling as she braces against the wall. They're still boarding. Another breach, Deck 7. Deck 7. Too close to the core. If they reach it, they could stop the cascade, and all this, every drop of blood, every burned world, will be for nothing. "We move," I say, hauling a wounded soldier to his feet. "Protect the core." We stagger through the ship, a ragged band of survivors, the walls buckling around us. The air's thin, oxygen leaking into space, but we push on. My lungs burn, my vision blurs. But I see her again. My mother, running, falling, gone. This is for her, for all of them. We reach Deck 7, and it's a war zone. Zarketh swarm the corridor, their armor scorched but intact, weapons spitting energy. My crew fires back, a desperate stand, but we're outmatched. I hurl my blade, catch one in the throat, then tackle another, slamming its head against the deck until it stops moving. The lieutenant's beside me, her rifle blazing, but a claw catches her side, and she goes down with a cry. "No!" I drag her behind a console, her blood soaking my hands. She's gasping, eyes wide, but she grabs my arm. "Finish it," she whispers. "Don't let them win." I nod, throat tight, and leave her there, hating myself. The core's ahead, a pulsing sphere of light behind reinforced glass. Zarketh claw at it, their tools sparking against the casing. I charge, screaming, a feral thing born of rage and grief, and take them down, 1, 2, 3, until the floors slick with their blood. 90%, an ensign's voice buzzes in my ear. "Brace for detonation." I slump against the core, breathing hard, the hum now a roar. The lieutenant's gone still behind me, her rifle silent. The Zarketh are dead or dying, and outside, their fleet closes in. 3,000 years, and it ends here, not in victory but in fire. "Burn it all," I mutter, closing my eyes as the cascade hits critical. The core's roar fills my skull, a deafening pulse that drowns out everything, gunfire, screams, the distant shudder of the retribution breaking apart. I'm slumped against it, the glass warm against my back, vibrating with the promise of annihilation. The antimatter cascades at critical, seconds from tearing Zarkon Prime, and us into nothing. My hands are sticky with the lieutenant's blood, her last words echoing in my head. "Don't let them win." I won't, even if it costs me everything. The comms spit static, a voice breaking through, an ensign, panicked. "Commander Reyes, cascade's locked. Someone's overriding it from the bridge." My eyes snap open. Overriding it? That's impossible. Only a handful of us have the codes, and they're here, dead or dying. Betrayal hits me like a fist, sharp and cold. Someone's turned. I stagger to my feet, the ship tilting as another blast rips through the hull. The Zarketh are gone from this deck, their bodies littering the floor, but outside, their dreadnoughts hammer us relentlessly. If the cascade fails, they'll finish what they started 3,000 years ago. I stumble through the corridor, the walls buckling, sparks raining from torn conduits. My legs scream, my lungs burn, but I push on, driven by fury and something darker. Doubt. Who's left to betray us? Okoye's dead, the lieutenant's gone, the crew's bleeding out. The answer claws at me, but I don't want to face it. Not yet. The bridge is a wreck when I reach it. Consoles smashed, bodies slumped over controls, the viewscreen cracked but still showing Zarkon Prime burning below. A figure stands at the command station, fingers flying over the panel. My second-in-command, Captain Harrow, alive somehow, his uniform torn but his posture defiant. He doesn't see me until I'm on him, slamming him against the console. "What the hell are you doing?" I roar, my voice raw. He doesn't flinch, his eyes meeting mine, calm, cold, unrepentant. "Saving us, Reyes. You're killing us all." "Saving us?" I shove him harder, my fist trembling. "They burned Earth. You'd let them live?" "They're beaten," he snaps, shoving back. "Look at it. Half their planet's ash, their fleet's in chaos. We've won. But this?" He gestures at the core's readings, the Cascades countdown frozen at 99%. "This isn't victory, it's suicide." I stare at him, chest heaving. He's wrong. They're not beaten. Not while their ships still fly. Not while their empire stands. But his words sink in, poison seeping into cracks I've ignored. The crew's dead or dying. The retribution's a husk. And I'm about to erase us all. Is this what my mother died for? For me to become them? "They'd do it again," I say, quieter now, my grip loosening. "You know they would." "Maybe," Harrow admits, stepping back. "But we're not them, not yet." The ship lurches, a dreadnought's salvo tearing into us. The lights flicker, and I hear it, the Cascades hum faltering. Harrow's override is working. I could stop him, kill him right here, let it all burn. My hand twitches toward the knife at my belt, but I hesitate. 3,000 years of hate scream at me to finish it, to make them pay. But there's something else. Her voice, faint, telling me to run, to live. "Commander," an ensign yells from a flickering console. Their flagship's hailing us, offering terms. Terms. Surrender. Mercy. Words the Zarketh never gave us. I look at Harrow, his face a mask of hope I can't feel. Then at the viewscreen, Zarkon Prime smoldering but still there. The Cascade's silent now, dead in its cradle. "Patch it through," I say, my voice hollow. This isn't over. Not yet. The bridge is a tomb, the air heavy with smoke and the weight of Harrow's betrayal. The viewscreen flickers, casting jagged shadows as the Zarketh flagship's transmission comes through. I stand rigid, my hand still hovering near my knife, Harrow a step behind me. Too close. Too alive. The ensign at the console glances my way, his fingers trembling as he patches in the signal. I nod, and the screen resolves into an image that twists my gut. A Zarketh commander stares back, its 7-foot frame draped in scorched armor, mandibles clicking slow and deliberate. Its eyes glow green, unblinking, and the translator hums as its guttural voice spills into our language. "Human fleet, this is High Warden Khazrathul. Your assault ends now. We offer ceasefire, terms of survival. Refuse, and our dreadnoughts erase you." Survival. The word burns like acid. I see Earth again, flames licking the sky, my mother's hand slipping away. They didn't offer us survival, they offered ash. My fists clench, nails biting into my palms, but Harrow steps forward before I can speak. "We accept," he says, his voice steady, cutting through the silence like a blade. "Ceasefire. We'll negotiate." "What?" I whirl on him, grabbing his collar, slamming him back against the console. "You don't speak for us." The ensign flinches, the few surviving crew members staring, some with fear, some with something I can't name. Harrow doesn't fight back, just meets my gaze, his jaw set. Someone has to, Reyes. You'd kill us all for a ghost. A ghost. My mother's face flashes again, and I shove him away, breathing hard. The Zarketh commander watches, silent, its mandibles still. I turn to the screen, my voice a low growl. You burned our world. Billions dead. Why should we trust you now? Khazrathul tilts its head, a gesture almost human. You have proven your strength. We underestimated you. This war ends, or none survive. I laugh, a harsh, broken sound. Strength. They call this strength. Our fleet in tatters, the retribution bleeding out, my crew's bodies scattered like debris. I glance at the tactical display. Red blips outnumber green 10-1. The dreadnoughts loom, their weapons hot, waiting. Harrow's right about one thing. We're dead if we fight. But surrender? To them? Commander, the ensign says, his voice tight. Their guns are powering down, holding position. A ceasefire, a trap, maybe, or a chance. I don't know anymore. My head pounds, the weight of 3,000 years pressing down. I think of the lieutenant, bleeding out on deck 7, whispering, "Finish it." I think of Okoye, silent in the void. I think of Earth, a blackened husk we'll never reclaim. Stand down, I say finally, the words tasting like bile. But keep weapons primed, no trust. Harrow exhales, relief flickering across his face. I want to hate him for it, for forcing this, but I can't. Not yet. The ensign relays the order, and the Retribution's cannons go quiet, though their hum lingers, a coiled threat. The Zarketh commander nods, its image fading from the screen, leaving us in the wreckage of our own making. Silence falls, heavy and suffocating. I turn to Harrow, my voice low. If this goes wrong, you die first. He doesn't blink. If it goes right, we live. That's worth it. Is it? I don't answer, just walk to the cracked view screen, staring at Zarkon Prime, half burned, still breathing. The Cascade's dead, our vengeance stalled, and now we're bargaining with monsters. I feel the crew's eyes on me, waiting for something, hope, rage, anything. But I've got nothing left to give. Get me a line to the fleet, I say. We're not done yet. The Retribution hangs in the void, a broken shell cradling what's left of us. The ceasefire holds, for now, but the silence is a lie, stretched thin over the hum of primed weapons and the distant glow of Zarkon Prime. I stand at the shattered view screen, hands clenched, staring at the planet we almost erased. Harrow's at my side, too close, his presence a splinter under my skin. The crew watches me, their faces etched with exhaustion and something worse. Hope, fragile and unearned. Fleet's on the line, Commander, the ensign says, his voice unsteady as he patches through the survivors. Static crackles, then resolves into a chorus of battered voices, captains of the few ships still floating, their tones a mix of defiance and despair. Reyes, one says, her voice rough. Ecliptic here. We've got hull breaches, no shields. What's the play? Harrier reporting, another cuts in. Lost half my crew. Zarketh dreadnoughts are still out there. Ceasefire or not, they'll turn on us. I don't answer right away, my eyes locked on the planet below. The Zarketh offered terms, but trust is a luxury we lost 3,000 years ago. Harrow shifts beside me, his breath catching like he's about to speak. I cut him off with a look, sharp enough to draw blood. We hold position, I say into the comms, my voice steady despite the storm inside. Weapons hot, eyes open, they move. We hit back, hard. A murmur of assent ripples through the fleet, faint but resolute. They're with me, even now, even after everything. I kill the line and turn to Harrow, stepping close, my voice low. You forced this. If they betray us, it's on you. He meets my gaze, unflinching. And if they don't, we've got a future. You can't see past the fire, Reyes. The fire. Earth's flames flicker in my mind, unbidden. My sister's cries, my father's silence. I shove it down, but it's there, always there. Future? I spit. They took ours. You'd give them mercy? Not mercy, he says, quieter now. A chance. For us. I want to hit him, to break that calm resolve, but the ensign interrupts, his console beeping frantically. Commander, incoming transmission. High Warden Khazrathul again. Put it up, I snap, stepping back from Harrow. The view screen flares, and the Zarketh commander reappears, its green eyes piercing through the haze. Its mandibles click, slower this time, deliberate. Humans, it says, the translator's voice flat. We propose retreat. You leave our system. We leave yours. No further blood. Retreat. My chest tightens, rage coiling like a spring. Leave after all this? After the Retribution's scars, the Vindicator's grave, the Lieutenant's last breath? I open my mouth to refuse, but Harrow's hand lands on my arm. Light, warning. I shake him off, but his words from before linger. A chance. Why now? I demand, staring down Khazrathul. You've got the numbers. Finish us. The Zarketh tilts its head, a gesture I can't read. You have proven your will. We have lost much. This ends, or all is ash. I glance at the tactical display. Our fleet's a shadow of what it was, their dreadnoughts still looming. They could crush us, ceasefire or not. But Zarkon Prime burns below, half dead from our wrath. Maybe they're scared. Maybe they should be. Commander, the ensign whispers. Fleet's waiting. Orders? I look at Harrow, his hope a quiet plea, then at the crew. Broken, but alive. 3,000 years of vengeance scream in my veins, but there's something else now. A flicker, faint and unfamiliar. Survival. Tell the fleet, I say, my voice a blade. We pull back, but if they follow, we burn them to the last. Khazrathul nods, and the screen goes dark. The bridge exhales, but I don't. This isn't peace. It's a pause. The Retribution limps away from Zarkon Prime, engines groaning as we pull back into the void. The planet recedes on the cracked view screen, a smoldering ruin, its violet glow dimmed by our wrath, but still alive. Too alive. My hands grip the command chair's arms, the worn patch of Earth's flag rough under my fingers. The ceasefire holds, a brittle thread stretched across light years, and the Zarketh dreadnoughts hang back, their weapons silent. For now. I don't trust it. I don't trust anything anymore. Fleet's in formation, the ensign says, his voice a ghost of itself. Ecliptic and Harrier report critical damage, but they're moving, heading for the jump point. I nod, my throat tight. The bridge is a graveyard. Empty stations, bloodstains on the deck, the hum of strained systems the only sound. Harrow stands near the tactical console, his eyes on me, waiting for something I can't give. Forgiveness, maybe. Or an admission he was right. He'll get neither. Jump coordinates locked, he says, breaking the silence. We're clear in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. An eternity when every second feels like a betrayal of the dead. I see them all. The Lieutenant, Okoye, my mother, my sister, faces carved into my soul, demanding I finish what we started. 3,000 years ago, the Zarketh turned Earth to ash, and now I'm walking away, leaving their world breathing. My chest aches with it, a hollow fury I can't shake. Commander, the ensign cuts in, hesitant, picking up a signal, weak, from the planet. It's human. Human? My head snaps up, and I stride to the console, shoving past Harrow. Play it! The speakers crackle, a faint voice breaking through the noise. Tired, desperate. This is Outpost Delta. Survivors. Zarketh camps. If anyone's out there, please. The signal dies, swallowed by static. Survivors. Humans, trapped down there, left behind after the purge. My stomach twists, a fresh wound opening. We didn't know. All this time, we thought we were the last. And now this. "Scan it," I order, my voice sharp. "Find them." The ensign's hands move fast, the console beeping as it sweeps Zarkon Prime. Harrow steps closer, his face pale. "Reyes, we can't go back. The ceasefire." "Screw the ceasefire," I snap, turning on him. "They're ours. We don't leave them." He grabs my arm, his grip firm. "We go back. We're dead. The fleet's done. Look at us." I yank free, my knife in my hand before I realize it, the blade an inch from his throat. "You don't get it, Harrow. We're not done until they're all free. Or we're all gone." He freezes, eyes wide, but doesn't back down. "You'll kill us for a signal?" The crew stares, tension coiling tight. The ensign clears his throat. "Got a lock, northern quadrant, faint life signs. Could be hundreds." Hundreds. My breath catches. I lower the knife, but the fire in me doesn't fade. "Set a course," I say. "We're going in." "Reyes," Harrow starts, but I cut him off. "Shut up and follow or get off my ship." He hesitates, then nods, stepping back. The Retribution turns, a wounded beast baring its teeth, and the fleet follows, ragged, defiant, human. Zarkon Prime looms again, the ceasefire trembling. I don't care if it breaks. 3,000 years ago they burned us, but we rose from the ashes. Now we'll take our own back, or burn their worlds to the ground trying. The jump point fades behind us, and I smile, a grim, feral thing. This is who we are, not survivors, not ghosts, warriors. And the fight's not over.